Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, total world victory of Hare Krishna. Welcome back to another Bhagavad-gita class with your host, me, Prahlad. Today we're doing Bhagavad-gita 5:25. Let's get straight into it. Labhante brahma-nirvāṇam ṛṣayaḥ I'm trying to read it. ṛṣayaḥ kṣīṇa-kalmaṣāḥ chinna-dvaidhā yatātmānaḥ sarva-bhūta-hite ratāḥ labhante achieve brahma-nirvāṇam liberation in the supreme ṛṣayaḥ those who are active within kṣīṇa-kalmaṣāḥ who are devoid of all sins chinna torn off dvaidhāḥ duality yata-ātmānaḥ engaged in self-realization hite in welfare work ratāḥ engaged. Translation: one who is beyond duality and doubt, whose mind is engaged within, who is always busy working for the welfare of all sentient beings, and who is free from all sins, achieves liberation in the supreme. I find it interesting that the last verse, I'll just go back to it real quick. Ooh, that's right. Today is Guy Fawkes here in New Zealand, so everyone's popping off fireworks. So you might hear a bang noise in the background. But yeah, the last verse says he ultimately attains the supreme. Achieves liberation in the supreme. So it's basically the same thing. I was about to say it's alliteration, but it's slightly differently worded. Anyway, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Only a person who is fully in Kṛṣṇa conscious can be said to engage in work for all living beings. I'm going to restart. Only a person who is fully in Kṛṣṇa consciousness can be said to be engaged in welfare work for all living entities. When a person is actually in the knowledge that Kṛṣṇa is the fountainhead of everything, then when he acts in that spirit, he acts for everyone. The suffering of humanity are due to the forgetfulness of Kṛṣṇa as the supreme enjoyer, the supreme proprietor, and the supreme friend. Therefore, to act to revive this consciousness with the entire human society is the highest welfare work. One cannot be engaged in first-class welfare work without being liberated in the supreme. A Kṛṣṇa conscious person has no doubts about the supremacy of Kṛṣṇa. He has no doubts because he is from all sins. This is the state of divine love. A person engaged only in menizering to the... Is that how you say it? Menizering. Yeah. What is this word? Look up. Head of the government. A noun. Person engaged only in menizering to the physical welfare of human society cannot factually help anyone. Temporary relief of the external body and the mind is not satisfactory. The real cause of one's difficulty in the hard struggle of life may be found in one's forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Lord. When a man is fully conscious of his relationship with Kṛṣṇa, He is actually a liberated soul, although he may be in the material tabernacle. I like that word, tabernacle. Okay. Cool. Looking at the changes. Ooh. Or a few. The original edition. One who is beyond duality and doubt has been changed to those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts. Who's one? Is there anything? Because that's a lot of changes. One cannot be engaged in the times. Such first class. Is that the one? Yeah. Okay. Talking about this change, but the translation's been changed, and there's no it's not really a reasoning for that. Anyway, one who is beyond duality and doubt. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up, but there's quite a few fireworks going off. I didn't know it was Guy Fawkes night until everyone's popping it off. But anyway, yeah, it does change the meaning slightly. You know, one who is beyond duality and doubt. You know, it has those two separate things as something that you'll go beyond. And then second edition, those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts. Instead of it being sort of two separate things, duality and doubt, it's the dualities that arise from doubts. Even though when you say duality and doubts, it doesn't explicitly mean that the two aren't connected, but it also doesn't mean that they are connected. Yeah, they can be two separate things, or they can be connected. Duality and doubt can be connected or two different things. Whereas in the second edition, those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, that is saying that the dualities are definitely connected to the doubts, and the doubts come first. So there is a little bit of change in the meaning there. And I think I was looking here. I think is beyond duality or doubtfulness. Well, there we go. Duality or doubtfulness. So because it's using or, it's two different things. So yeah. Whose mind is engaged within, who is always busy, has been changed to whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy. I think that's because they've changed the modality. I think it's modality. No, they've changed it from is to are. So all the ises have become r's. That changes the tense. I think it's tense. It's been a while since I've been in English class, but yeah. And then they've changed welfare of all sentient beings to all living beings. There could be a change, you know, maybe not all beings are sentient, but all beings are living. And from free from all sins, achieves, and then who are free from all sins achieve liberation in the Supreme. And who are free from all sins. So yeah, it's changing the tense with from the R, so you don't need the S. Is where it says is free from all sins achieves, and then are free from all sins achieve. So the removal of the S is because they've changed the is from the original to are. There we go. And then here they've changed. One cannot be engaged in first-class welfare work, and then they've added such first-class welfare work, which here it says the original manuscript. There we go. I find it a little bit funny that they'll have a comment that's like, yeah, it says such first-class welfare work. Just a little such added. And here's the original manuscript to prove that. Such a small change. But it comes from the original manuscript, so it is going closer to the original manuscripts. But then again, you have this whole entire first translation part, which is being changed, and there's no reasoning behind it. Anyway, talking about the actual purport. Yeah, it says only a person who is fully in Kṛṣṇa consciousness can be said to engage in the welfare work for all living entities. Yeah, that really points out to me because, I said it yesterday in talking about the last verse and last week itself. Last week was the verse that talked about how each living entity has the individual soul and then has part of the super soul. So yeah, when it says only a person who is fully in Kṛṣṇa consciousness can be said to engage in welfare work for all living entities. Being in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. This is from yesterday's verse too. But being in Kṛṣṇa consciousness has you connect with the Supreme, has you I'll go back. So I'm not just making stuff up. Yeah, so he's liberated in the Supreme. That's what it said. So when you are in that Kṛṣṇa consciousness, when you connect with Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme, you connect with that super soul inside of you, and because the super soul is inside of everyone else, that's why when you are in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, you are engaging in the welfare work for all living beings, because you are connecting with all living beings. Because if everything is Kṛṣṇa and you're in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, you're technically with everything. Yeah, so that's why that first sentence points out to me. Yeah, it says the sufferings of humanity are due to the forgetfulness of Kṛṣṇa as the supreme enjoyer. Yeah, everyone, not everyone, people are trying to be the supreme enjoyer, trying to enjoy everything, trying to do everything, trying to be everything, but it isn't possible. You can't be everywhere, doing everything all at once. I think that's a movie about time travel and stuff. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was pretty good. But anyway, yeah, you can't be doing that, and so that's where some of the suffering would come from. Trying to enjoy everything and not being able to enjoy everything. But then when you are happy within, you are going within. This is yesterday's verse. It's amazing how all these verses connect. One whose happiness is within, who is active within, who rejoices within, and is illuminated within, is the perfect mystic. So when you stop trying to be the supreme enjoyer, when you understand that Kṛṣṇa is the supreme enjoyer, and when you're working in that Kṛṣṇa consciousness, the suffering won't be there, because you won't have the material desires, you won't have the desires to be or imitate the supreme enjoyer, and so you'll just be content with whatever you have, and whatever you have will be everything. Because once it seems counterintuitive, once you give up the pursuit of everything, that's when you really get everything. Yeah. Oh, it says ministering. Oh my god. I was like, what is that word? Ministering. Ah, a person engaged. Ah, I see. Mm. Ah, yeah. So when it says person engaged only in ministering to the physical health of the physical welfare of human society, cannot actually help anyone. That is true because we are not the material body. This is the material world. So having having a focus to the physical welfare, even though it is um important. That's why it says only in ministering to the physical welfare, because even though it's not it doesn't have the it's the soul, the super soul in mind, the physical welfare, ministering to it. It's still important. Um, yeah, you can't really do devotional service without keeping up with your physical welfare and for the physical welfare of human society. So it is a part of it, but that's just what it is. It's a part of it. Um, Temporary relief of the external body and the mind is not satisfactory. Yeah, because this is temporary. Temporary, yeah, temporary. Hmm. It might be satisfactory at the time. It's like going out drinking. Like, damn, I'm going out drinking, that's so fun. And then afterwards it's like, oh man, this sucks. Or even afterwards you just move on to the next thing. So it's temporary. It's not satisfactory. The real cause of one's difficulty in the hard struggle for life may be found in one's forgetfulness with his relationship with the Supreme Lord. Hmm. When a man is fully conscious of his relationship with Kṛṣṇa, he is actually a liberated soul, although he may be in the material tabernacle. Hmm. Yeah. That's basically saying it's all right if you're in the material tabernacle, if you if you're conscious about your relationship with Kṛṣṇa and you have that understanding, you are still liberated, even though you're in this material world. Being in the material world isn't a bad thing. It's what you do in the material world which dictates if it's good or bad. Okay. Yeah. So to finish us off, I'm gonna read the verse again. Labhante brahma-nirvāṇam ṛṣayaḥ kṣīṇa-kalmaṣāḥ chinna-dvaidhā chinna-dvaidhā yatātmānaḥ yat yatātmānaḥ chinna-dvaidhā yatātmānaḥ sarva-bhūta-hite ratāḥ. One who is beyond the duality and doubt, whose mind is engaged within, who is free, who is always who's free, whose mind is engaged within, who is always busy working for the welfare of all sentient beings, and who is free from all sins, achieves liberation in the Supreme. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching live. If you watched live, thank you for watching afterwards. If you're watching afterwards, if you like any of the content that we do here, give it a like, give it a share, tag your friends. I will be back next week to do some more Bhagavad-gita verses. Yeah. Good morning, good evening, or good night. It is a good night for me. Maybe there'll be some more fireworks, but hopefully not. It's a little bit late. Got work tomorrow. Yeah, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, total victory of Hare Krishna. Haribol.